Hello and welcome to my first paper crafting video. My name's Anita and I've just become an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and so I thought I would start by sharing a little project here that I've made. It's a standard matchbox, and you can see lots of these on YouTube on how to make the actual matchbox, but this one has a little difference in that when you open it you get a little pop-up sentiment. This one holds two standard size tea lights, and this one obviously is done as a thank you gift. This one I did using Stampin' Up Tangelo Tango for the base and some matching Stampin' Up DSP. I've used Tangelo Tango to stamp my sentiments, both on the outside and inside. The sentiments I'm using are actually from lilydeevalley.co.uk, and they're called General Greetings Small, but I'm saving up for some suitable Stampin' Up stamps. Anyway, let's get started. You'll need a square of card for your matchbox base. This time I'm using Blackberry Bliss by Stampin' Up, and this piece measures 13.5 centimetres square. For the wrap on the outside, you need a piece of the DSP, and this measures 15 by 8.5, and again this is the Stampin' Up Blackberry Bliss DSP, and I'm going to use this side today. So let's get started. You will need an envelope punch board for the matchbox. So let's bring that in, and you'll put in your 13.5 square piece of card for the base, and we're going to put it in at 6.8 and punch and score. Then we're going to move it along to 9.6 and again punch and score. Turn it round, and then using your score guide, this little pointer here, match it to your first score line there and punch and score again. Move it up to your second score line and punch and score again. And then you're just going to repeat that on all four sides, punching and scoring. And when you're done, you should have two score lines and two punch marks on each side. I'm going to use the reverse punch here just to round off these corners. And there we are. I'm going to take a bone folder and fold and burnish all the score lines. And I'm going to do the inner score line first, and then just open it up and do the outer score line, and then keeping that folded in, just refold on that inner score line. And this is what's going to give you the sides of your matchbox. So just continue on all four sides, doing the inner, the outer, and then the inner score line again. And burnish them well, because this Stampin' Up's cardstock is very good quality and it's nice and sturdy. And so there we go. So now what we need to do is make the flaps to create our box. And you'll see these four little square pieces here. With the longest side going across, we're going to cut up to that middle score line on both sides, and then swivel it right around to the long side again and do the same on the other side. And that's given us these 4 little flaps that we can use to create the box. Flip it over, and I'm going to put a little bit of snail on each of those. And this is just to hold it until we put in the other pieces, which we'll use a tombow. So just bring those sides around and match up those edges. And this will be creating our box. Just make sure you get those edges nice and neat. And so there's the basic box, and we're just going to glue and tuck these flaps inside the box. And as I say, I'm going to use some tombow adhesive because it's stronger when you're working with a card. Oops. We can get it to work. There we go. So put a bit of glue on and then tuck that inside, and the little triangle bit sits on the bottom of the box. So do the same with this one. Again, tuck it down. And the third one, tuck it in. And then the last one. And there's your Matchbox tray finished. Just set that aside for that glue to dry, and we'll work on our wrap piece. I'm going to score this, and I'm going to use the scoring tool on the Stampin Up paper trimmer, because I do have the scoring tool, but the centimetre ones don't have a ½ centimetre mark all along, so this makes it just a little bit easier. So take the cutting blade out of the way, and we're going to put that in, and we're going to score that at 3 centimetres. And at 5 centimetres, 9.5 centimetres, and 11.5 centimetres. And then we're just going to fold on those score lines. Just make sure that you keep it at a right angle here. And there we go. And just burnish those a little bit. Now all we have to do is to put some adhesive down one side, and then we can wrap that around the Matchbox, just keeping it nice and straight top and bottom. Stick that down, and there's your Matchbox. So now to make the pop-up, we're going to use a piece of acetate, and this is about 5 centimetres by 1 centimetre, and I'm going to use a little mini glue dot on the top of that, and then I pre-stamped my sentiments. I used just a scrap of Whisper White card, and I've used the Blackberry Bliss ink to match my paper, and I'm just, this one I cut using the 2" by 1 3/8 inch Stampin Up oval punch, and this one just using a 1" round punch, Sullivan's punch that I just going to burnish the edges of those with the Blackberry Bliss ink, just lightly. You can miss out that step if you don't want to do that, that's okay. And now I'm going to take the smaller of the 2 sentiments and I'm going to stick it on the top of that acetate, and this is going to be our little pop-up sentiment. This one I'm going to put a little bit of foam tape on the back, and we'll just leave that for 1 minute till we've finished. Now, to make the sentiment you need some sort of sharp pointed tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a hole about in the middle of the short side of this Matchbox tray. Just poke a hole right through, and then just poke a hole right through the end of your piece of acetate. Just mind your fingers. And then we're going to take a little brad and I'm going to put it through the hole in the Matchbox first, and then I'm going to slide my piece of acetate onto the back of the brad, and then we can just open up the wings of that brad, and that's giving you a little handle for your Matchbox and also your little pop-up sentiment. So you can just pop in a couple of tea lights and just hold that down and pop on your sleeve. And then just to decorate the top, we're going to put on a sentiment, which we mounted on foam tape. I'm going to put that up at the top this time. And then I just have some narrow ribbon. It's about 35 centimetres of ribbon. And I'm just going to wrap that round and tie a little bow. Just neaten that up, trim off those tails, and there's your quick and easy little thank you gift. They're really cheap and easy to make, you don't need many materials, and of course depending on your sentiments you can use them for birthdays, teachers' gifts, Christmas, and they're just a cute little gift. And of course this one is sized to fit 2 tea lights, but you could put chocolates or a small piece of jewellery or whatever you like in the box. So there you go, there's our project. I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and if you want to buy any Stampin' Up supplies you can go to my blog, which is Lilydee Papercrafts.stampinup.net, and you can see details of the project with measurements for you, and you can buy any Stampin' Up supplies if you wish to. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you will subscribe and come back for more videos. Thanks, bye!